What if I told you there's some mysterious people living in the Middle East who have been hiding secrets so shocking that they've VA'd baffled scientists, geneticists, and historians for centuries? What if this ancient group possesses DNA so unique that it literally rewrites everything we thought we knew about human migration and evolution? Today, I'm about to expose the most forbidden mystery in Middle Eastern history. These people are called the Druze, and their very existence challenges the foundations of science, religion, and human understanding itself. This isn't just another ethnic group. These are people whose genetic code contains traces of civilizations that supposedly vanished thousands of years ago. Their religious beliefs combine impossible elements that shouldn't exist together, and their customs are so secretive that outsiders are literally forbidden from learning their deepest truths. Warning: what you're about to discover about the Druze will shatter everything you thought you knew about human history, DNA science, and the hidden connections between ancient civilizations. But this simple name hides one of the most complex genetic and cultural puzzles in human history. The Druze practice a religion so secretive that conversion is absolutely forbidden for outsiders. The results are so extraordinary that they, forcing us to completely reconsider our understanding of ancient human migrations, lost civilizations, and the hidden connections that shaped our world. Their sacred texts are hidden from the world. Their marriage customs create what geneticists call a genetic isolate, a population so close that they've preserved ancient DNA signatures that were lost everywhere else on Earth, that the Druze possess genetic markers that trace back to populations that supposedly disappeared from history thousands of years ago. The Druze carry genetic signatures that prove their ancestors came from the exact same regions where ancient Indo-Aryan populations originated. Vedic cultures, and the mysterious peoples who spread across Eurasia millennia ago. We're talking about the mysterious Aryan peoples who supposedly disappeared from history thousands of years ago, are found to have one of the highest rates of a recently evolved genetic variant called ASPM 52.2% occurrence rate, along with Lebanese Christians, Palestinians, Syrians, and various Jewish populations. Derive over 60% of their DNA from Bronze Age Levantine populations. This means they're direct genetic descendants of the ancient Arameans, Canaanites, and other mysterious Bronze Age civilizations. That it's literally forbidden for outsiders to learn their deepest beliefs. But here's where it gets mind-blowing. Reincarnation is not a Middle Eastern concept. It's primarily associated with South Asian religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, exactly the same regions where their genetic markers originate. Instead, they practice a syncretic faith that combines elements from multiple religious traditions in ways that shouldn't theoretically be possible. The Druze religious beliefs contain clear evidence of their Indo-Aryan genetic heritage. They've preserved religious concepts that trace back to the same ancient populations that their DNA proves they descended from. This is a gene associated with brain development that appeared in human populations incredibly recently in evolutionary terms. But they also revere figures like Salman the Persian, and they believe that the biblical Elijah was actually a figure called Ali-Dir. They literally practicing a religion that mirrors their DNA, a fusion of Middle Eastern and South Asian spiritual traditions. They honor John the Baptist, St. George, Job, and Luke the Evangelist. Written in Arabic, but containing concepts that clearly trace back to ancient Indo-Aryan philosophical traditions. The combination of Middle Eastern language with South Asian concepts provides additional evidence of their unique cultural fusion. Spiritual individuals called Kukul hold the secrets of the faith, while the secular members called Jul focus on worldly matters. This creates a hidden knowledge system where the deepest truths are known only to a select few. Multiple academic studies have proposed connections that, when combined with genetic evidence, paint an absolutely extraordinary picture. They carry the DNA of civilizations that flourished thousands of years ago, preserved through their strict marriage customs and genetic isolation. The Druze have become what geneticists call a genetic isolate, meaning their closed marriage practices have preserved ancient genetic signatures that were diluted or lost in other populations through centuries of mixing. A 2020 comprehensive genetic study revealed something that defies everything we thought we knew about Middle Eastern populations. The study analyzed ancient Canaanite and Levantine DNA from the Bronze Age and compared it to modern populations. We're talking about direct genetic links to ancient Arameans, mysterious Indo-Aryan migrations, and civilizations that mainstream archaeology claims never interacted. This genetic marker is extremely rare in the Middle East, but it's common in South Asia, specifically in regions spanning from Pakistan to southern Iran. Their very existence challenges everything we've been taught about history, genetics, and human evolution. I need you to do something crucial. If you're ready to discover scientific evidence that mainstream institutions don't want you to know about, smash that like button right now. And make sure you subscribe with notifications on, because I regularly expose suppressed scientific discoveries and ancient mysteries that will absolutely blow your mind. Are you ready to learn about the most mysterious people on Earth? Because once you understand who the Druze really are, in 2005, geneticists made a discovery about Druze DNA that was so extraordinary, it took years for the scientific community to fully process its implications. You'll never look at human history the same way again. Welcome to the most mind-blowing genetic mystery you'll ever encounter. I am about to reveal scientific evidence so shocking that it has been quietly suppressed by mainstream academia for decades. The Druze people call themselves Al-Mowahidan, which means the monotheists, or those who believe in one God. Here's what makes this absolutely incredible. Recent DNA studies have revealed, but it gets even more mind-blowing. What I'm about to share with you comes from cutting-edge genetic research conducted by Israeli and international scientists. The Druze aren't just a modern ethnic group. They're reliving proof of ancient mysteries that science is only beginning to understand. But before I reveal these forbidden genetic secrets that could rewrite history textbooks, what I'm about to reveal will shock you to your core. The Druze people living around Mount Carmel in Israel. But here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. DNA. Studies reveal that 32 to 35% of Druze men carry the Y-chromosome haplogroup L. Do you understand what this means? This genetic evidence proves that the Druze are living descendants of the same Indo-Aryan populations that gave rise to ancient Persian civilizations. But wait, it gets even more incredible. The results were absolutely staggering. The Druze. Think about what this means. The Druze are literally walking genetic time capsules. This isn't just fascinating. It's scientifically revolutionary. Now, let me expose the religious mystery that makes the Druze even more extraordinary. Their faith is so secretive, so carefully guarded. The Druze religion developed from Islamism. But here's what's absolutely fascinating. They don't consider themselves Muslim. Their core beliefs include the unity of God, reincarnation, and the eternity of the soul. This isn't coincidence. The Druze honor biblical figures like Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad as prophets. This religious syncretism, combining elements from Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and ancient Indo-Aryan traditions, reflects their complex genetic heritage. But here's what makes this absolutely extraordinary. Druze religious practices are divided into two groups. Their primary religious text is called the Epistles of Wisdom. Now let me reveal the shocking theories about Druze origins that mainstream historians have been trying to suppress. Israeli historian Philip Hitti proposed that the Druze are a mixture of Persians and Arabs, who adopted new beliefs. His evidence included the fact that early Druze religious founders were of Persian origin. Some scholars propose connections to the ancient Y-chromosome tribe, supposedly descended from Geter, son of Ishmael, according to Jewish literature from 1165. Compared to 8% in Lebanese Druze and 0% in Syrian Druze, proves that different Druze communities have different genetic signatures, reflecting different migration patterns and origins. By forbidding conversion and strongly discouraging intermarriage, they've preserved ancient DNA signatures for over 1,000 years. It proves they redescended from ancient populations that maintained their own genetic isolation thousands of years ago. The Y-chromosome haplogroup L that is common in Druze men is the same marker found in ancient Indo-Aryan populations that migrated from Central Asia to South Asia and then somehow reached the Middle East. The Druze were described as descendants of the Y-chromosome. But the Druze have maintained genetic purity that allows scientists to trace their origins with unprecedented accuracy. The answer reveals a disturbing pattern of scientific suppression that's been going on for decades, creating a unique civilization that preserved genetic and cultural elements from across the ancient world. The idea that a Middle Eastern population carries significant Indo-Aryan genetic markers doesn't fit neat categories that scholars prefer. the spread of ancient civilizations, and the relationship between genetics and culture. An Arab Ishmaelite tribe that lived in the northern Golan Heights during Hellenistic and Roman periods. Their genetic signatures suggest that ancient Aryan peoples didn't just migrate to India and Persia. Some groups continued westward and established communities in the Levant. This cultural privacy has contributed to the suppression of information about their unique origins and significance. The fact that they combine monotheistic beliefs with reincarnation concepts creates theological problems for mainstream religious scholars. The presence of reincarnation concepts in a Middle Eastern population proves that ancient Indo-Aryan philosophical ideas spread much further west than scholars previously recognized. How many other cultural and genetic connections are we missing? How many other populations preserve evidence of lost civilizations and forgotten migrations? Their closed marriage customs have maintained genetic and cultural signatures that would otherwise have been lost to history. Their existence proves that ancient peoples were far more mobile and interconnected than we previously believed. How did Indo-Aryan genetic markers end up in a Middle Eastern population that also carries high percentages of ancient Levantine DNA? The answer lies in understanding ancient migration patterns that mainstream archaeology has completely missed. These extraordinary people represent living proof that our past is far more complex and interconnected than mainstream science admits. The key is recognizing which populations have maintained genetic and cultural purity over extended periods. The Druze represent something increasingly rare, a direct connection to ancient mysteries that shaped human development. Their religious beliefs demonstrate that ancient peoples developed sophisticated philosophical concepts that influenced multiple continents. What other isolated populations might preserve similar ancient mysteries? Let me know in the comments below. Knowledge this extraordinary shouldn't be kept secret from the world. Make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell activated. I regularly expose suppressed scientific discoveries and genetic mysteries that mainstream institutions do and want you to learn about. How many other populations preserve similar evidence? What other genetic and cultural mysteries are waiting to be discovered? Establishing communities from India to the Middle East, the Druze represent one of these ancient migration endpoints, preserving genetic and cultural elements from this extraordinary human expansion, and waiting for those brave enough to seek the truth. The Druze mystery is just the beginning. Their secretive religion and closed marriage customs have protected mysteries that might otherwise have been lost forever. As DNA analysis becomes more sophisticated, the proof of Druze connections to ancient civilizations becomes undeniable. Their beliefs about reincarnation, their Persian vocabulary, their syncretic religious practices, all of these elements have been preserved alongside their genetic markers. Parts of the Druze religious vocabulary are Persian. They've preserved ancient Indo-Aryan religious and cultural concepts alongside Middle Eastern traditions, creating a civilization that exists nowhere else on Earth. Assyrian Chaldeans, the ancient Hivite people, Armenians, Persians, and Turks. This isn't contradictory evidence. It's proof of their complex, multi-ethnic origins, the native inhabitants of Wadi Altum, where Druze beliefs first spread, were influenced by Persian, Iraqi, and Arab cultures. The Druze are undescended from just one ancient population. They are a genetic fusion of multiple ancient peoples who somehow ended up in the same geographic region and developed a unique, closed society. But other theories are even more mind-blowing. I need you to share this video with someone who needs to know about this hidden scientific evidence. And let me know in the comments. Did you know that DNA evidence could prove the existence of lost civilizations? Because what I'm about to reveal next will completely change how you understand human migration in ancient history. Additional theories connect the Druze to ancient Arameans. Here's what's absolutely incredible. Genetic evidence supports all of these theories simultaneously. The 27% average of the LEM20 genetic marker found in Mount Carmel Druze. This suggests that the Druze aren't just one ethnic group. They multiple ancient populations that adopted similar religious beliefs and cultural practices. If these genetic revelations are absolutely blowing your mind like they did mine when I first discovered this research, here's what makes the Druze absolutely unique in human history. Their marriage customs have created what scientists call a genetic time machine. This genetic isolation isn't just culturally significant, it's scientifically revolutionary. Most human populations have mixed and blended over centuries, diluting ancient genetic markers. Their high frequency of specific genetic markers. This creates an incredible scientific puzzle. The Druze represent proof of complex ancient interactions between Indo-Aryan and Semitic populations that occurred thousands of years ago. But here's what's even more extraordinary. The Druze have maintained not just genetic isolation, but cultural and religious isolation as well. This means the Druze aren't just genetically unique, they're culturally unique as well. Why isn't this incredible discovery being taught in schools or discussed in mainstream media? The genetic evidence proving Druze connections to ancient Indo-Aryan populations challenges fundamental assumptions about human migration patterns. Academic institutions have been reluctant to publicize these findings because they complicate simplified narratives about Middle Eastern ethnic groups. Religious institutions have also been hesitant to discuss Druze beliefs because their syncretic faith challenges traditional boundaries between different religious systems. Most importantly, the Druze themselves maintain secrecy about their deepest beliefs and practices. But the genetic evidence is becoming too overwhelming to ignore. The Druze mystery forces us to completely reconsider our understanding of ancient human migrations and the development of civilization itself. The genetic evidence suggests that Indo-Aryan populations did and just migrate in one direction. They spread across Eurasia in multiple waves. Their religious beliefs provide additional evidence of ancient cultural connections. This has profound implications for understanding the development of human civilization. If ancient peoples were this mobile and interconnected, the Druze also demonstrate that genetic isolation can preserve incredible historical information. This suggests that other isolated populations around the world might preserve similar evidence of ancient mysteries. So what does the Druze mystery mean for our understanding of human history and evolution? Their genetic signatures prove that ancient civilizations were capable of long-distance migrations and cultural exchanges that we're only beginning to understand. Most importantly, the Druze show us that hidden knowledge and ancient wisdom can be preserved through cultural practices that maintain genetic and social isolation. The scientific evidence surrounding the Druze forces us to ask fundamental questions about human origins, ancient migrations, and the development of civilization itself. In our modern world of global communication and genetic mixing now, I want to know your thoughts. Do you believe genetic evidence can prove the existence of lost civilizations? If this genetic revelation has opened your eyes to hidden human history like it did for me, don't forget to share this video with anyone who's fascinated by genetics, ancient history, and the hidden connections that shaped human civilization. Remember, the evidence for humanity's complex past is written in our DNA, preserved in isolated populations.